Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about the 3D printed miniature furniture, and the focus on this camera is not doing so great. It's still kind of the new year. It's only the 29th of January. We have a few more days left of January. But I thought to myself, let's just make a video on all the 3D printed furniture I've made so far, and kind of just talk about it in a little bit more detail. So let's kind of begin talking about where it all started. This is the original furniture I made. These are actually not properly scaled. The table is too tall and the chair is too tall. They were scaled around the 25% size Nerf mug here. Fun fact about this, so some of you may know that this was a model that was never supposed to be printed. This was designed to be used in a Blender render. I'll put the Blender render up here so you can check it out. At the time, I thought that the scale was too small, so I took that model and scaled it up 4 times. So that's what the original mini Nerf mug is, like this big. Well, if you scale it back down, you get this size, which is the original size. This is what the Blender render model is. I just kind of found that funny. We made it big and then we shrunk it down again to make some mini furniture. By the way, all this stuff is designed in SolidWorks, which is why it looks kind of angular, geometrical. They are like the most generic looking thing you could design. And that's kind of the whole point. They're meant to be very simple miniatures here. That tangent aside, that's why these videos are so long on tangents. Here we have our living room furniture. The first ones we've made were the armchair, ottoman, and the end table here, side table. And then I had the genius idea. What if we doubled the length of the armchair and end table? And that's why we got the love seat and the coffee table. Yes, this is a love seat. It's not a couch, because it's double the width of the armchair. If it was like triple or maybe 2.5 times, then I would have called it a couch, but it's a love seat. You can fit 2 people on it. Of course, we made the bookshelf, the new bookcase. I still need to make more books, and also we have this little print error here. It looks pretty cool. I'm fine with it. These books, by the way, are supposed to be filament swatches, and I haven't made more since I made the initial set, so we need to make more of them. The books were designed before we made the bookcase, not like I tried last time, which was I made the bookcase before making the books. Of course, we also made some lamps. We made this floor lamp here. It's a very simple floor lamp. We also made this little cylindrical one here. They do have light bulbs. All of them have, or they have the spot for a light bulb. I haven't printed out more light bulbs. It's the only light bulb I have. The original lamp is no longer with us. If you watch the video where I introduced, I think this one and this one, that lamp is toast. It's gone. We have the pyramid lamp. It's more of a trapezoid. The file is called pyramid lamp, but it's more of a trapezoid. We have a square lamp, and this little Michelin man looking thing, that's the ring light. That's at least what I called the file. I'm not sure why I called it that. It's more like a donut. Oh, also want to quickly mention the cups here. I do apologize for the blurriness. This camera's autofocus is so bad. So 25%, this is what a lot of them were scaled around, but then I ended up realizing that this guy here, which I think is a 20 or 21% size, is a much better scale to the rest of it. So the next room that we made was the dining room. Kind of a remake of the original table and chair thing. And this was also the point where I decided to make 4 of everything. I guess there's 4 people living in this house. So we got the 4 chairs around the square table here. So this table here, the color scheme actually matches a table that my family has in real life. Black legs with the brown top. It's not a square though, it's more of a rectangle. And I was gonna do that to the chairs, but then I realized, well, it would look better if we just had a black seat with the brown legs instead and have an opposite. It looked a lot better. The original one was a straight back. This actually is angled slightly. And also the legs, we have these little reinforcing rungs on them. I originally didn't have them, and then I decided to put them on. I was like, oh, it actually looks nice, and yeah. Worked out pretty well. Of course, we had the plates and silverware and bowls and stuff. Let me go grab a plate. Yeah, there we go. We have our plate here. This was the first dishware that was made. And these mugs, which are 25% scale Nerf mugs. So yeah, these were made before I realized that we need to shrink down the Nerf mug size here. Bowls, we don't have anything to put in them yet. I was thinking about making some ice cream that kind of slots in them. Also, we made some little forks and knives and little utensils. So here's the knife. This is actually the simplest one to design. Of course, we have our fork here. The spoon is the most complicated of them. To get the little dip in it, I actually made an egg-shaped revolve cut. And I had to make sure it didn't go too deep because it would start to cut holes into it. I don't know if you can see that spoon here. Here's a better angle, right? It's not supposed to be white on the bottom. Pretty cool. I should probably make more. So that's it for the dining room. Let's talk about the outdoors, the great outdoors. We have a picnic bench here. Very simple picnic bench. We also made the mini cooler here, my favorite miniature. This was a lot simpler than I thought. I thought I had to design like a whole hinge thing, a pin system where I'm gonna hammer in a pin. It was just simply put the pins onto this guy here. Take these two bits, clip them together onto the lid here, and then shove it into the little shell down here, this little box. Very simple design, really cool. Soda cans had some iterations to it. This is one of the examples of finding the limitations of the 3D printer. Every iteration I had, every prototype I have of these soda cans had to get thicker and thicker and thicker so you could actually see the top of the can. Of course, we designed some burgers. This is a hamburger, not cheeseburger. How this thing was designed was the bun, tomato, and patty. They were all a revolve. The lettuce is actually an extrude of an octagon. And that's how we get the little leafy lettuce. I thought we had to go some crazy shape, but turns out we could just use an octagon. You may also notice that the tops of them are textured. It's because we printed them flat. That was a suggestion my sister gave me. The burger was also the point where I realized we had a limitation on the AMS. I was originally going to make cheeseburgers. Said, screw it, we're not putting the cheese on there because it makes it more complicated. And it turns out that was a good idea because I realized I just have one AMS, and that only holds 4 colors. So we maxed out the colors on this one. So we made the burgers, but we also made some French fries and onion rings. So here's the French fries here. So the cup printed separately, and there's a French fry insert. Simple was the best bet here. You just have a flat plate on the bottom that has a bunch of vertical square posts. Another overthought thing that turned out to be incredibly simple, you just stack a bunch of rings on it. Now, if you see the original model, the actual model of the onion rings, it looks like a modern art piece. You can't have burgers, fries, and onion rings without some condiments, so we made the mustard bottle here. Of course, we have our ketchup as well. We got ketchup. This is the Kettle Grill. It's a very simple grill based on the classic Weber Kettle Grill. You know, we got the little air vent here, which, by the way, doesn't work. It's not a real functioning one. We have the removable grill part here. In a previous take, I dumped all the food inside of it, but I'm just going to leave it in there. We have the little ashtray here. I don't have the little agitator thing. Probably wouldn't function either, but it's overall pretty nice looking thing, you know. It has a ton of accessories. Of course, we have its charcoal starter thing, the chimney starter. We have the spatula, little grill spatula, flip some burgers and stuff. We have these tongs here that actually function. And then, of course, we have the barbecue lighter. This is one of the cooler accessories I've designed. The raw T-bone steak. This is the most natural shaped thing that I've made so far. And SolidWorks has definitely shown that it's not great for naturally shaped things. And then, of course, we have its cooked variant with the grill marks. The grill marks don't match with the grill. If I had done that, I would have had to make the steak a lot larger, which wouldn't match the original raw T-bone at all. It's not accurate at all because the cooked T-bone is thicker than the raw one. That's not realistic at all. Of course, we have our burger with some cheese on there. Little charcoal briquette, the smallest of all the accessories. So yeah, that's our Kettle Grill. And I'm going to say this too about this stuff. The whole miniature furniture thing has taught me the limits of 3D printing and the limits of my knowledge of SolidWorks. I think there was a comment, I never seen the comment at all, but I've heard from some of my friends and family. There was one comment where someone's like, why are you making a bunch of useless stuff or whatever, or something like that. A bunch of useless waste of filament or something like that. But this wasn't a waste. This is helpful for me to know. All the information we have here goes in all the other projects that I've done. That's what I appreciate the furniture here for. That's all the miniatures I made in 2025, and we'll be making some, Lord willing, in 2026. And if you have any ideas for miniature furniture, let me know your ideas in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.